Okay, so let's just go from the top. So Stellaris, you can have a predefined race, or you can create your own race. And the only difference between the custom races and the predefined ones is story, right? Is there anything else that I might know of that?
Ultimately, no. You see their government styles pretty much available to you at the beginning:
Yep.
representative democracy, dictatorship, etc. And I was referring to earlier the Chi-Nor Stellar Union, the megacorp. So what you're going to get here of a basic breakdown of the different types of government, the democratic, you get the opportunity to elect your leader over a smaller amount of time. The more the more authoritative the government, like if
Yeah.
it's oligarchic, you're going to have 30 to 40 years in between elections instead of the 4 to 5 for
Okay.
democratic.
I don't think talking about is helping me because I don't actually know what elections do in this game.
Sure,
So
sure. You let's just fire. Pick one and fire. Let's do it live.
okay. Well, in that case, we'll go with the Earthlings just for the boringness. Any specific settings? Would you prefer? Yeah. Okay. So game settings. What do I do?
In game settings, the first thing I would recommend is set to hyper lanes only. So you would want to limit FTL method. The reason for that would be the next patch is going to take out warp and hyperspace, or warp and um, the other one. It's elusive to me right now.
So
They're gonna it's gonna be hyper lane only.
where do I go for that then?
You want to go to allow FTL method and select hyperspace or hyper lanes only. It'll be below difficulty.
Hyperdrive, warp, wormhole.
You want hyperdrive. Hyperdrive is the one that they are setting it to fix. That is going to be the only method allowed to players in the next patch.
All right.
Also, it's just a better way to play.
Okay. I
I'm
feel like
sure I
I
just
feel like I want to make a tiny world because I feel like I don't want it to overface myself. So I'm going to go with a tiny world. Is that recommended?
yeah. I mean, it's really to taste. Tiny world means there's going to be less people. It's ultimately as long as you want to play. I usually play on a medium-sized world just because I like 10 races. Um, let's just go through these here on the list. Galaxy size, it's pretty much it is what it is. Galaxy
Yeah,
shape
yeah.
doesn't make much difference. AI empires, if you set it to the top of the slider, you're going to get 5. If you click randomize, it doesn't matter what your slider setting is. Advanced AI starts. I set that low, and the reason for that is that advanced AI. If you start next to an advanced AI, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Okay,
Like
that's
they're going to
fine.
be
All right,
better than you at the beginning.
that sounds good.
Fallen empires are like advanced AI, except that they're going to raffle stomp you at least until you're in the mid game, late game.
Okay, we'll turn those off then.
Imagine if you were starting as Bulgaria in Hearts of Iron 4 and you declared war on
Yeah,
Germany, 1936.
I get it. I
That's
get it.
that's what you're going to be getting. Primitive civilizations are just things that you can interact with that give you a little more story. Depending on your government, it can be cool. Ultimately, it's unimportant. Just leave it as default. Crisis strength, I set that low if I'm learning the game. The in-game crisis is something that Stellaris has that it'll throw something at you that if you're not prepared, it will end your game. Like it'll just beat you, and that's that.
Okay, fair enough.
Habitable worlds, I just leave that at 1x. I'm not interested in having a whole lot of worlds that people fight over.
Yeah,
I
sure.
like the exploration. AI aggressiveness, normal difficulty, maybe easy, maybe normal, just to learn. Normal's fine. It's a paradox game. They'll no bonuses, no negatives.
Okay, difficulty.
Normal or low, up to you to taste.
Okay. Doesn't tell me what it does when you hover over it, does it?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can imagine that it's a paradox game. So if it's low, you're gonna have bonuses. The
Okay.
the empires are gonna have the enemies are gonna have negatives. Normal is nothing. The harder you get, the more negatives you have.
Okay. Advance empire placement, clusters, or random?
Um, you know, random I think is the best. Just for like who knows what's gonna happen. Clusters, you're gonna start off in groups. If it's like Civilization, I don't know if you've ever played that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if you start off next to somebody, you're gonna have conflict if you're enemies. You're gonna be best buds if you're friends. If you have random, you just get to sort of play the game until something happens.
Sure, sure. Advanced neighbors.
Oh God, always off. It's like advanced start. You can have advanced starts. If you have advanced neighbors on, you're gonna have a bad time.
Cool, cool. All right, now man, self-explanatory. We'll go with no. All right, let's play.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay.
All right, so I'm on a bit of a delay, so I'm seeing your game load up now. So just give me a second to see what we got. The most important thing I look at a start is, how many planets do I have?
Okay, and you start off with Earth. So one Earth, one planet, Sol. Yep.
Yep. So since you're playing as one of the predefined factions, your starting zone is going to be predefined. Since you're playing humans, you get to start off in the Sol system, Earth, Mars, etc., etc. I believe that there are a couple things here that are fixed. Mars is always going to have the ability to be terraformed later. Uh, I think there's something else that happens on one of the locations, but
Hmm.
ultimately, it's random. This Stellaris kind of has a common basic start, like Hearts of Iron 4. You set your research to mechanical engineering, et cetera, et cetera. It's very similar to Stellaris. The first thing you want to do is you have a science ship,
Yep.
and you want to tell that dude to survey the entire system.
Okay, so that's the first thing I'm gonna do. So science ship and survey. Order the ship to survey stars, planets, asteroids. Surveying reveal details information. Might even unveil an anomaly.
And that's what you're shooting for ultimately. When you survey a location, a star that you don't have any knowledge of, it's going to reveal if it has any resources on all of those great little planets or the great little things in the star system. It'll give you anomalies based on the skill of your scientists, etc.
Yep, cool. That's fine. So I think the way I did this last time is that you don't actually click on the mission button. You actually right click on the star, and then you got survey and survey system. What's the difference?
Survey is you're only going to survey the specific thing you're clicking on. A survey
Ah,
system is
okay.
it's going to hit everything,
I get it.
starting with what you're right clicking on.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Ah, I see. I see. And then you right click a server and you can see the pathing. I get it. Okay.
Precisely.
Exactly right. Okay. What's the next thing you do?
Typically, after I set up my surveys, I go to my home planet either by clicking on the planets on the right-hand side menu or just zooming in and clicking on the planet, clicking on the little banner under it,
Yeah.
and I create a second science ship. Because science ships are so exceptionally important in this game that for quality of life, they let you automate them later, but early in the game, you have to choose each one to individually survey systems, and it's kind of annoying. But
Sure.
the more science ships at the beginning, the better.
How do I do that then?
So you want to click on the spaceport for the planet that you have selected, and this is your planet. This is your spaceport queue. Once you clicked on the spaceport tab, it'll give you the option to build things in the spaceport, either spaceport modules or ships.
Okay. Oh.
Yep. So I know I'm on a bit of a delay, but I saw you hovered over it. So you see how you can build a Corvette, a construction ship, a science ship,
Oh
spaceport
yeah,
upgrade.
yeah. How come that's not one of the options on the right hand side? How come I not?
That is something that they are introducing later as quality of life. There's a big spaceport overhaul that's coming up, but for now it's just in sort of the system menu.
I have a funny feeling this is how this is gonna go, isn't it? I'm like, where is it? Like, well, it's coming.
That's a lot of that is in the game, man.
Okay, so to do it manually, you have to go to the system that you've, I guess, colonized and you've got control over, and then it's got has every planet that you have got like a spaceport next to it then?
Oh God, you wish, right? No, you have to build spaceports in every single planet that you colonize.
Okay. All right, I'm building a science ship, and it's added to the queue. So in that case, oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh shit, I made.
So we're still in this game is exceptionally paradox. You're gonna have the time elapses when you unpause. Right now, you're at the beginning of the game. You can up time, you can decrease time.
Okay.
you know, Science ships are great. Construction ships, the rest of that stuff, don't worry about for the moment. All we're really worried about immediately is in terms of our survey ships. I'm going to be talking about just that for the next second. We're only worried about what we see in our system.
All
And
right.
then when we build that next science ship, we're going to send it off to one of our adjacent star systems to survey.
Hmm.
And that'll take, that'll take a couple seconds of game time.
Okay.
From there, you see on your sort of notification up at the top, a la
Yeah.
Paradox, you have
Research.
those exactly. Let's go ahead and set those.
Okay. So I selected physics.
All right. So if you selected physics, what you're going to see is you're going to see a random selection of a couple research options. Every
I
time you
see. Yeah.
research something, the next selection is chosen randomly from what you have available.
Okay. So the first guy, Martin, and then I select what
All
to
right.
search, and then I
Yep.
can select what search options I've got.
Yep. So if you have any questions about what you're seeing right here, shoot at me real fast. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep
Yeah.
proselytizing at you.
No, I know. At this point, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to say to you, well, what do you think I should go for?
um, personally, I love solar panel network. That's going to give you a lot of return early. Going to give you return medium. It's going to give you return late. It's going to give you credits. It's a module that you build on a starport, so it's only helpful for the amount of starport you have. Physics lab, I don't usually go for science building upgrades. Those are things when it says unlock building, it's something you build on a planet.
Yep.
Unlock module is something you're going to get on a ship or starport. And components are things you're only going to get on ships.
Okay.
The fusion reactor is very good, but at the very beginning of the game, it's not as good as the solar panel network. I always want to see that first thing.
Okay. So orbital energy conversion unlocks a solar panel network. Requires 360 physics research, 51 months.
Yeah, so every turn or every sort of click in the game, you're going to generate a certain amount of research. You're going to generate a certain amount of minerals and everything that you can produce. Um, Initially, your science is pretty low. You know, your energy, your minerals, your food, all of that's going to come monthly. You get bonuses to research if the sort of specialist that you are assigning to the research matches the type of research. So if you're looking at your society, you're going to notice that your oh god, you're jumping around. Sorry, I'm a bit of delay. If you're on society, your bottom tech is you're going to get a bonus.
Yeah.
That match bonus is just 10% additional research per month
Yep.
based on what you generate. So
Okay.
right now in society, you're generating 6. You're going to get a 12% bonus. So you're going to generate around 6.7 a turn.
Right. Okay. 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 Is there a way you can define to me how physics, society, and engineering, how the technologies are different? How is there a way of
Absolutely.
is there a way of summarizing that in a brief way?
Engineering is going to be mostly based for your ships. You're going to get a lot of things that you can put on your spaceships to shoot, to armor yourself, to go faster. Physics is going to be shields, generally scientific-y stuff. And society is always going to be mostly like army for your ground troops or your government
Okay.
bonuses, things like political power and Hearts of Iron 4.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right. So society, we have got. So just to understand what I'm looking at, so that's the name of the technology, and that's what it does.
Yeah, the 3 different branches: physics, society, and engineering.
That's fine. Unlocks biolab, unlocks heritage site, growth speed.
Growth speed is your additional growth when you actually colonize. Your guys are going to grow to get a new population to put in one of your little planet squares. That's something we'll address later. Growth speed is always good. Heritage sites essentially get you more PP, and they get you more stuff later. And not really something you need to worry about immediately. Growth speed at the beginning is very good. One thing I do want to know, looking at your society screen, you see how you have the little indicator of the research showing what kind of category it is?
Mm-hmm.
That icon below it means that that's part of a research tree.
Okay.
So if you get genome mapping, it's going to unlock specific research later that you won't get if you don't get genome mapping.
Okay, that makes sense. No, that's okay. That sounds good. That sounds good. Okay. What would you recommend I go for and why? Hello. Oh,
You
no.
get me? You still hear me?
Oh, you broke up again.
Oh, sorry about that, homie. Yeah, I would say growth speed. The faster you grow, the faster you can colonize, the more you can do things, and every person who you grow into gives you more things more resources. Biolab, it's a research, your research building for society. It's not good. For engineering, let's see what we got here. We got engineering facilities, neocomposite armor, and ion thrusters.
I'm sorry.
You're not getting any bonuses in any of those, so ultimately they're not super important.
Okay.
I would probably go in a vacuum with the armor. Armor is always good. You're always going to put it on ships, and it's free.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. That sounds good. All right, excellent. Is that the domestic stuff sorted? Are we able to
For the most part, yeah. I don't see anything else off the top of my head that you want to do at the very beginning. Part of this game is exploring. This is a classical 4X game. You can explore with your science ships, and they'll go out. But if they encounter anything that wants to blow you up into space dust, science ships can't fight back.
Okay.
You start with a couple. Start with 3 corvettes. If you look on the right hand side menu, your outliner, you'll see in your military fleet's first fleet. It's showing you have 3 ships at 104 fleet power. Those are guys that can defend themselves. They can fly away in trouble. So I generally like to assign them a space star on the galaxy map that I'm going to be sending the science ship that I've queued up to research. I like to send them out to move there just to make
Right,
sure
to
that the
defend
science ship
them.
isn't gonna
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it, yeah. Because I noticed there's quite a lot of space pirates.
Oh man, space piracy is super annoying.
Final frontier of piracy. Okay, alright, okay, so... where's the unpause? It's the top right, isn't it? What kind of speed do you play at normally?
I typically play at 4 speed. I can hit 5 speed usually at the early game.
What does that
What I
mean?
do to
Hang on.
it's just like Hearts of Iron 4. Faster
No,
speed
no.
means times elapsed faster.
Oh, yeah, no, but... Yeah, but 4 speed doesn't make a lot of sense because there's not...
Construction
There's
complete.
normal, fast,
Oh,
fastest...
sure. I follow. I play on fast. I
Okay.
go to fastest in the early game. What I'll do is I'll queue up by holding shift. I'll queue up a bunch of planets for my science ship to survey, and I'll send out my military fleet to hit those spots first, just to make sure I'm not going to get face punched.
Requires a science... Oh, I need to... So I've got a new science ship. Let me just pause.
Sweet. So you have a science ship. Unfortunately, a science ship itself is not good without a leader. So you need to click that assign leader box at the ship box in the lower left-hand corner. And when you do that, when you assign a leader to your ship
Oh,
that
yeah,
doesn't have
yeah, yeah.
one, it's going to take you to your leadership screen. That's just a place where you can see what leaders you have and buy new leaders with your PPs.
Okay. Okay. Any kind of quick, easy, quick fire method to pick the guy that you need?
Yes, if you see a guy who has Spark of Genius or you see a guy who has Genius, pick them up immediately. Those things are worth their weight in gold.
Okay.
Secondly, I like to look for guys who give me survey speed bonuses or archaeology bonuses for anomalies. And thirdly, if I can't find any of those, I'll usually take a guy who gives me a bonus research. So in this case, you want to click up at the top at scientists, click the recruit button.
Oh, so who are these guys then that I've got here?
Those are dudes you've already hired.
Okay. All right. We have carefree. We have field manipulation and resilient.
Yeah, so that medium person, that Tian Chang, I butchered that, but they're carefree. They give you anomaly speed research. That's
What did
better
you
than
just
nothing.
say? What did you just say?
What? I said nothing.
Anomaly research. So is the middle one you want to think about? The Chinese sounding
Yeah,
name.
yeah. The middle one would be good. The second one, or the third one, Concetta. That trade isn't bad, but it's not as good as carefree.
Oh my god, she's gonna live a very long time though, dude. Okay.
I mean, long compared to humans. Who even knows how long that is? We haven't even met anybody yet.
Yeah, good point. Good point. What is long? That's a good question. Okay, so we've hired Chong guy.
So now that you see she's available in the
Yeah.
scientist screen, where you see what your scientists are doing, you should be able to click her since you got into this menu from the science ship.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So I select the
It's annoying
sign.
if you Yeah, it's annoying if you go into that screen from the leaders menu or the I think 5 key, because then you're just like, oh, I have this guy and I want to sign him, but I forgot how.
Okay, so I've assigned it to survey Alpha Centauri, and then I take the fleet to go there too, right?
Yep. You just click on the military fleet and right click it, and they'll just move there by default because there's nothing else for them to do there.
Okay. All right, and then I unpause.
Anomaly found.
Normally found Mars, a barren, lifeless world is showing signs of showing signs of once having supported a biosphere. Research or leave it.
Yeah, so what this is in this anomaly screen, you're going to see the anomaly level. You want that to be under the skill of your scientist and stars.
Yeah, I get
The
that.
failure risk is indicated by the failure risk. If it's 0, there's no reason not to research it. It's always, if you find an anomaly, those are like those little bonus huts you find in Civ. It's
Yep.
not going to be bad unless you fail. If your failure risk is high and you fail, it can have catastrophic consequences.
Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna go for a. I imagine in most cases you want to go for this. So what's the factor that you'd not want to go for this? I guess the failure risk is just something you don't want to take.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
If the failure risk is
Yep.
over 20%, I leave it to later. Anomalies won't disappear if you don't research them immediately.
Oh, I really like that comparison. That is a good comparison comparing it to Goody Huts in Civ. That is actually a good comparison because that's easy for me to understand. Brilliant.
I'm here for you.
Dude, I believe, man. I believe in you, man. I believe in you. Okay, awesome. Anomaly has been found. Mars, we are researching it. That's good. And then I'll get some kind of bonus when that's done researching, right?
Yep, it'll generally indicate to you that, like, hey, you succeeded, or oh, hey, your scientist died because you went at a 35% fail.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. When the fleet's got like a sleeping signal next to it, do I have to tell it to do something, or?
No, that sleeping signal is just indicating that, hey, you haven't assigned any orders. They are literally just flying in place.
Okay. I right-clicked on the science vessel. What does that even do?
If you right-click the science vessel, I think what they're going to do is they are just going to follow that fleet. They're just going to escort it. Wherever you send the science vessel, the military fleet will follow.
Is that required? Do I need to do that?
Not really. I mean, what I do is I send out my military fleet first to a bunch of star systems and have my science fleet, survey those fleets or those systems afterwards. But in the immediacy, I'm relatively certain that the star systems immediately adjacent to you don't have anything that will absolutely face destroy you.
Cool, cool. I said anomaly wrong. Is that not how it's pronounced?
Anomaly?
Anomaly? Anomaly.
Anomaly?
Is that really how it's pronounced?
I mean,
if something's like
I don't know about you.
If something's unknown and undiscovered, and it's classed as an anomaly, right? Or am I?
Yeah, an anomaly. Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Sure. Someone in the chat's just trying to tease me. Never mind. Okay. U.S. Hawking has made a starting find of the Alpha Centauri. A moon is leading fling with alien life for the first time in history. Gain some science research gain 60. Okay.
Yay, we're not alone. So Stellaris is super story-based. So you're going to get these things that might not immediately have anything to do with your game. Early game, the first time you discover life, you'll get a minor bonus to research.
Spoilers?
Because, hey, dude, we found aliens. That's super cool.
Whoa, there's aliens? You've spoiled it now. What the hell?
Oh my god, read a book.
God damn. Terraforming Canada discovered, which is Mars.
So what that's telling us is, that's actually a fixed event if you're playing as the United Nation of Earth. Mars is always going to be something that you can terraform later in the game when you unlock that research.
Okay. But it says requires terrestrial sculpting.
Yep. Once you get that research, and it's in the society branch, you can tell by that little icon. Once you get that research of, I think climate engineering and terraform sculpting is necessary, you can actually change that world from its classification right now as barren to something a little bit more your liking, like, I don't know, Gaia or Terran or, ocean, whatever.
Okay. United Nations of Earth is abuzz with news of an alien life found. Okay, that's a story event there, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's a story event because you found that Alpha Centauri moon that you found life on. They're just, your people are like, holy crap, there's stuff over there, my god. That's one thing that I really like about Stellaris is that, you play Hearts of Iron, you play Victoria, you play EU, all that stuff has kind of been written. So you sort of anticipate what the story events are going to be. In Stellaris, man, you're in space. You don't even know what you're going to see.
System survey complete.
Awesome. Alpha Centauri system has been fully surveyed.
Sweet. So now that we've surveyed that, we're going to send our survey ship to, one of the adjacent stars.
Okay.
I like to send my initial science ships into a little loop. And once they're done, I just send them off on a further out loop and a nice spiral around the galaxy.
What's this blue circle around my Earth?
Hold on. Let the screen catch up, and I will be able to determine what we
Yeah,
got
what's the
going
blue disc? I guess this is the galaxy. But what's the
Oh,
blue
the blue
disc?
disc in the galaxy map. That indicates your area of influence. What that means is that aliens, if there are any, spoilers, there are, they
What?
can't do anything in that circle of influence, like colonize. They can't colonize. Period. They can't build sort of these things that grow that disk. They can't put those in your territory. They can survey if you let them, and by default, you are letting them because you're humans and you love aliens. But that indicates your area of control.
Okay. Okay, I guess I have a funny feeling that question, if I have questions on that, are probably going to be answered later on anyway, so let's just go for that now.
Yeah, that's true. It's good. It basically just recognize that if you see your color disc, that's your stuff.
Barnard Star.
Okay, actually, there's one thing now that we're looking at the galaxy map. Your construction ship is sort of chilling out. If you go back to the galaxy map, you'll notice those sort of little icons and numbers under each star system that you've explored. Those are resources that you have revealed.
Okay.
If they're white, those are things that you can send your construction ship to build mining stations on,
Okay.
or research stations on if they're science. Your starting system is exceptional. This is something that I would always want to see every game. If you find a star system with like 8 minerals and 10 energy credits, that's a star system worth going to war over.
Okay, and that's based on the story mode of being Earth, right?
Oh, actually, I think that's completely random.
Oh.
You just got super lucky, my man.
Oh, okay. So, when you refer to, I can see there's 10 energy and 8 red rubies.
Yeah, minerals.
Okay, right. Energy and minerals. Okay, right. Okay, is that what you're referring to as being high, or am I just?
Yep, absolutely. That is what I'm referring to.
Okay, so
You can, with your construction ship, either go into the star system, and like click on each of those individually and have him construct.
I'll do it.
Or if you're in the galaxy screen, you can
Yeah.
just right click on the star and click construct all mining outposts or construct all research outposts if it's research.
It doesn't seem to work. I right click and it says build on
It's because they're red. You don't have enough resources. So this is one of those situations. I'd zoom in and start building them individually.
Okay, right.
Higher numbers before low numbers.
Yeah, and I need minerals, so we're gonna go for asteroid. Can I like queue them up?
Yeah. If you hold down shift.
Oh god, this is like, oh my god, dude, I've cracked it now, boys.
You're getting there. I can hear the cogs turning.
I have increased my productivity by at least 200% by knowing that.
Minerals are always good to stockpile. You will use them to buy things. Energy, not necessarily something you really care about, as long as you are not negative.
Ooh, the failure rate for this anomaly is 40%. That's a big risk.
Leave it.
Okay. I'll come back to that later, right?
Yeah, it's anomaly level 2. Once your scientist is level 2, that risk is going to drop substantially. There's also, once we get into some of the later stuff, there's other things you can do to mitigate that. Always never go for anomalies if there's failures. That's clutch.
Oh, that was a bit close. Okay, that sounds fine. What percentage do you normally go for if you want to?
I'll risk it at 10. If
Okay.
it really depends on the situation. Later in the game, if there's an anomaly, I'll go for it. Early game, I am super shy. I don't like to risk anything early because they don't go away.
System survey complete.
Okay. Pause again. Survey complete. One of my dudes is gained skill. I guess just by doing his job, he gains skill, right?
Yep, exactly. When people do their jobs, they get better at it. Shocker, right?
Oh my god! So now the failure risk is 20%. Would you take that risk?
Yep, the failure risk for that guy is 20%. Early game, I would probably leave it until level 3.
Yeah, I get that. Because late game, we're gonna get some geniuses, right?
Exactly. You guys, the more they level up, the more traits they get, the less that failure rate gets. Everything just gets roses.
I feel like. Okay, so it has the option to survey that. Oh no!
So you can always
Oh,
select
yeah,
a
yeah,
science
yeah,
ship
yeah,
and then go back to that that anomaly and right click it and send your dudes
yeah,
to it.
yeah. All right, we're gonna go for this guy, and we'll send that fleet to here as well because
Bird Star.
Bird Star.
So, one thing, Alpha Centauri, do you see that little green icon next to it on the galaxy map? That indicates that it has a habitable planet. It is a planet that is good for you, humans, to colonize.
Oh shit, boys! Colonies again. We couldn't get away from those colonies.
You see that Rigel, once you moved your fleet in there, it had that little orange planet. That means you don't know if it's good or bad. Once your ship surveys that, it will turn a color dependent on how hospitable it is to humanity.
Yeah. Am I able to inhabit Alpha Centauri now and build a planet there?
Yes and no. You know, you can certainly do that. Building a colony immediately has some immediate drawbacks and some immediate bonuses. So it's really up to you, and I'll describe
Situation
both.
log updated.
The drawback first: anytime you colonize a planet or you gain
System survey
you grow a person on any planet, it gets harder to
Evading
research.
hostile fleet.
The more the planets are 10% extra research you have to do.
Okay,
Each individual civ is
just
10%.
just jump in for a second. This is like building a new city in Civ, isn't it? That's what you're basically telling me, isn't it?
Exactly. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. And if you expand too early on, you find yourself stagnating a while until you. Yeah, I get where you're going with
By
this.
George, you can be taught.
Yeah, I can. I'm learning. My brain is literally expanding right now in my head. Construction ship UNS Sahara has encountered a hostile hijack fleet in feedback. It's currently attempting to evade them in feedback. That's Earth.
This is a story event that is random. This is a story chain. You don't see this every game. Every time you start a new game, there's a chance for, like, I think there's a one of 6 of these different story chains.
Yep.
This one is one that, hey, these dudes showed up off of your main planet and they're trying to flee and they're jerks. They're jerks about it. Blowing them up, it was good. I think your starport will probably take care of it if a fight has already started.
Okay, so starports have got like natural like turrets. I'm guessing like defense.
Early game starports are dangerous thieves of hearts. Like, they will not be defeated early in the game.
Okay. Okay, just 1 second.